Maggie was a young woman with a tough past. Her parents died when she was just a child, so part of her life was spent in an orphanage. Her memories seemed to fade at some point. She suffered from amnesia and had no recollection of anything prior to her life as an orphan. Only one image seemed to have survived, the image of a man with green eyes, reddish hair, and a friendly smile, but she couldn't tell who he was. Luckily, loving parents adopted her. The Stevensons gave her a home and made her feel like a true daughter. Alarmed by her amnesia, they subjected her to various psychological tests. They deduced that these blockades must be linked to some traumatic event, but they never found the exact cause. Maggie was fascinated by dolls. Her room was full of them, having collected them over the years, although sometimes she had the feeling that they were watching her. There was one she was particularly attached to, a sweet bunny with long ears and long arms, bright on one half and caramel-colored on the other. It wore a black vest, and in one eye it wore a huge button as a patch. She had found it in the closet at the orphanage, and from the beginning its tender expression had made her feel safe. Although she was already a teenager, she always slept hugging it to protect herself from the nightmares that continually plagued her, like the one that night. She couldn't tell where she was, she only noticed the darkness and silence that surrounded her. Suddenly, a cold arm grabbed her wrist. Long nails began to pierce the flesh, making it bleed. She screamed in terror, but a voice drowned out her cries. "You belong to me." In the midst of that blackness, bright green eyes appeared in front of her. "Don't worry, I'm not going to spoil your body. I'm going to fix it." With that last sentence, Maggie woke up. She sat in the bed and saw the old bunny doll lying on the floor. She bent down and picked it up, the image of those claws coming back to her mind. She had never had a nightmare like that. The sensation of pain was terrifyingly real, but she was relieved to wake up to find that it had only been a dream. Her mother entered her room soon after, alarmed by her screaming, and asked if everything was okay. "Yeah, it was just a nightmare." As soon as she was gone, Maggie fixed her eyes on the bunny beside her, and it seemed that he was watching her with a wicked grin. Frightened, she slapped it to the ground. "Surely my nightmares are because of sleeping with this damn doll." She turned over to try to sleep, but at that moment she felt something on her feet. It was the doll, which was back on its bed, looking at her. Frightened, she rose violently from the bed, screaming for her parents, and suddenly everything happened. The walls cracked and the paint fell apart, revealing the existence of a blue door that slowly opened with a creak. Long, sharp black hands began to appear, the same ones she had seen in her nightmares. A tall figure came out of the door, whispering her name. "Maggie." The young woman was totally paralyzed. She heard her parents behind the door of the room, but the monster blocked the entrance with his body. Even in the half-light, she could see his evil smile. "Dear Maggie, it's time you came back to me. I'm Jason, the Toymaker. Your faithful friend, the only one you can trust." Hearing his name, her memory suddenly came back. Thousands of memories crossed her mind. She remembered the day they had met when she was a little girl, his friendly smile, all the toys he had given her. Then the man said, "It was me who got everyone out of your life. Your friends turned into dolls. Your parents, dolls too. I made many dolls for you. I even gave you my best creation, Mr. Bunny. And I can't wait to introduce you to the rest of the collection." Suddenly, her parents burst into the bedroom, and Mr. Stevenson hit Jason with a crowbar. But far from finishing him off, the monster grabbed him and stuck a huge mechanical wrench in his back, shouting between laughs, "Dad's battery's low, it needs to be recharged." He turned the key with force and twisted his spine, breaking all his bones. His body writhed like a snake and he collapsed to the ground. Mrs. Stevenson was next. She was holding a knife with which she stabbed Jason in the chest, but his wicked grin didn't fade. Slowly, he unbuttoned his shirt and dug his nails into his own chest, ripping away the flesh and spilling dark, stinking blood. He brought into view a beautiful music box which he carefully examined. Fortunately, everything is fine. He tucked it back into his ribcage and it began to play a shrill song. To the sound of the dark music, he pulled the knife from his chest and slid it firmly through Mrs. Stevenson's neck, slitting her throat in just a second. I was always a faithful friend. I got rid of all the people who made you sad, because I wanted to see you happy and that you were by my side. But you're a wicked girl, so I'll have to fix you. You will be a very beautiful doll. Completely paralyzed with fear, Maggie could only hear Jason say, "Now let me fix you." If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. And if you want to see more Draw My Life videos, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode.